This action sequence has generated over 25,000 views and almost 20% of my total subscribers to this day. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what it took to shoot it and made it look like it's part of a movie. But let me give you some background first. Of course, if you want to dive right into the behind the scenes, you can just skip to the next chapter. So Katrin Blimsrieder, who is a really talented German actress, reached out to me with a pretty structured and exciting request for a job. A cinematic showreel that she can pitch to agencies as well as boosting her portfolio. From our first call, we already clicked, and even without a settled budget, we knew we just had to make this project happen. She already had a rough concept, and once we gathered more ideas, it quickly turned into something pretty wild. Scenes of her as a police officer, as a swimmer in the freezing Baltic Sea, and of course, the scenes as a killer. And for those scenes, we decided to show her running through the woods in a chaotic shootout against an enemy that you can't see. To make that work, two things were crucial. First, we needed a killer location. We went with the Ghost Forest, or Forest of the Ghost. Yes, it's actually called that, and it's located in northern Germany right by the Baltic Sea. I mean, look at those trees. They're just surreal and a perfect vibe for the video. And second, but just as important, Katrin had to look convincing to really sell the scene. So we went with an all-black outfit, black boots, and for contrast, beige accents like the tactical vest, and of course, the rifle. So far so good, but we had a huge problem. The rifle. Even though this assault rifle is a so-called semi-automatic electric gun, so it's basically just a replica, it still looks like a real AR-15. And under German law, it counts as a look-alike weapon, which means you can't just carry it around in public. And since the Ghost Forest is owned by a federal state, we needed quite a lot of permits. But first I had to buy the rifle, which cost me around 250 euros, and it kind of made me feel weird to just go and buy it in a shop. I did it anyways, and straight after that I called the police, the weapons authority, forestry office, and local council. I informed all of them, and after paying the official fees, we got all the approvals we needed. On production day, the weather was freezing and the sky was completely overcast, giving us a nice soft light, especially on her skin. Plus, it added to the overall mood, because let's be real, these scenes are anything but cheerful. To get Katrin warmed up in those temperatures, we made her do some running first. For the opening shots, I wanted to convey a feeling of observation, so I used a 135mm lens mounted on a cinema tripod focused on Katrin's running path about 20 meters away. This shot just came out super smooth. And thanks to the scope overlay I added in post-production, you're right there in the action as a viewer. Normally, I like to surprise my clients with the final results, but these shots looked so good straight out of camera that we just had to check them on the monitor right away. And if something didn't go exactly as planned, or if I imagined some movement or some props looking a bit different, well, then I sometimes had to jump in to show what I had in mind. And when all hope is lost, gaffer tape to the rescue. The props, whether it was the rifle, the fake hunting knife, or the ammo, they were all packed into the vest and had to survive a lot of movement. Especially the running sequences pushed everything to the limit, not just the tape. Katrin and me sprinted a lot of short distances again and again all day to have as much action in the video as possible. I shot a lot of these handheld, always staying super close to her. As a viewer, it really gets your heart pumping. For the scene where Katrin hides behind the fallen tree, we wanted to simulate real bullet impacts. The idea was pretty simple. It was to toss a handful of dirt at the tree and enhance it visually with a mist spray for the bullet impact. But after a few tries, we realized that throwing the dirt at the tree didn't really look convincing, so we came up with the idea to flick it instead. Timing the flick and the mist spray was definitely a challenge, but after a few attempts, we nailed it. A huge shout out to Bernard and Michelle, who assisted on set and played along with all the madness. And with some sound design, it sounds like this. If you look closely, you'll also spot a bit of post-production magic here. Do you see the enemy's gun flashes? These were basically some small graphics that I added in post-production. All the shooting scenes felt way more realistic once I combined the practical effects with the animations. Here's another example where we used our mist spray. Of course, action videos or videos in general always benefit from cool transitions. One of my favorites is the pan transition. You can see that here. It's basically just whipping the camera from one side to the other to cut into another shot. To increase image contrast and make it all look better with the soft lighting, We also added negative fill in certain spots. You can see it well here in the shadows on Katrin's face. I would say the main goal for this video was to make the viewer feel really pulled in. So another of the key elements to make that happen was the choice of lenses and camera moves. For example, alongside handheld and tripod shots, we also used the slider. Especially for the shots where you want the viewer to be pulled in very fast without losing focus on the character, this is where the slider comes in really handy. Because this rifle here is not made out of metal, and this vest is not real, so neither of them make any sound. And without sound effects, it sounded like this. And with sound design, like this. I'm not gonna break down every single shot now, but you can find those details throughout the entire video. Like when she reloaded, for instance. That's also where we used the gimbal for the first time, again with a 135mm to stay really close. And here again, sound effects made the extra polish to make this whole thing come to life. I even used a muffled filter on the music in the edit to bring the viewer even closer into the scene. And honestly, I couldn't feel any closer to the entire project myself. Everyone gave it their all, including my clothes when I crashed half a meter into a swampy waterhole behind a rotten tree. But other than that, everything worked out pretty great. I mean, not even the people walking by complained about us or the rifle. And that's definitely a first for a public shoot in Germany. What was really new though, I didn't make a cent on this shoot. Sure, we agreed on a budget, but it was way below what would make financial sense for a project like this. So why the hell did I do it? Simple, because I see it as my duty as a filmmaker and a business owner to always keep investing in my craft. My business runs on creativity, and when the ideas are flowing and the workload allows it, those are the types of projects where you can grow and experiment. Screw the money, it comes and goes. But with everything I learned from this shoot, we're just getting started. Alright, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace.